Hi, yogis. Welcome back to another episode of RunYogi Diaries. This is your host, Santosh Shiva. I hope you had a wonderful week and you also got some time to play, swim, bike, run, whatever is your thing. Every week, I bring you conversations with people who are on a journey of well being and endurance. I hope they spark some possibility in you, leave you with some tips, and perhaps some inspiration to perspire. If you like this channel, consider subscribing to it. Hit like if you like this video, and leave your comments below and let us know what you think. This episode is also available on all major podcast platforms if audio is your thing. Hi, Mohan. Welcome to Run Yogi Diaries.
Thank you, Santosh. Thanks for having me. It's almost embarrassing to know that I'm in a podcast talking about running. I'm not known for my running prowess, but thanks for having me.
You're so humble. You're so humble. Let me read out who you really are, and then people can decide whether So first of all, Masala Runner, Mohan Iyer,
Yes.
aka Masala Runner. Originally from Baroda, India, right? And now lives in Florida. You're a technology executive and a marathon runner. And what's very fascinating is you've done some 110 full marathons till date, and this is for someone who started just in 2010, so like just in 10 years. Simple math tells me that's about 10 marathons a year. So that's quite incredible. You've done one ultra, and you've done 54 half marathons in a till date. You've also done marathons in all 50 states, which is awesome. You've run in all continents. How cool is that? And the audience can now decide whether you're not a runner or not. You've run in 33 countries, right? You've run in the North Pole, you've run in Antarctica, and all of that just in 10 years, Mohan. So that's quite an achievement.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, when you put it that way, it's also kind of mind boggling even to me that the fact that I've spent so much time. And more importantly, if you were to ask my wife, she would say I burned half my retirement savings. So, I mean, that's the amazing part. A lot of time that has gone into that, and I mean, probably as we have additional conversation, we'll get into that. But I think the support that I had from the family, the kids, the work, and everything. I mean,
Mm.
it's by no means it's not just me, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's not a solo sport.
Yeah,
It takes the village to get a runner going.
absolutely, and plus the gel.
Plus the gel. Yeah, fascinating. That's really great, Mohan. So let's maybe do a bit of a flashback, right?
Absolutely.
In terms of how it all started. So how did it all start? Why did you even embark in this
Yeah, I know.
running?
When you wanted me to join this podcast, that was the first question I was asking myself. Why the hell did I even start running? So, I mean, actually, as I look back, I mean, I'll probably go all the way back to maybe my very early childhood in India. I was not an obese kid by no means, at least in my childhood. Typical
Hmm. Hmm.
middle class child. To me, I mean, probably a lot of South Indians can probably relate to this. To me,
Hmm.
uh, being fat was being fit, meaning like
Hmm.
because I was a very skinny
Uh,
kid, I felt like, oh, I had to really like put on weight and I had to look very chubby and stuff. That was the hallmark of healthy kid. Prosperity
prosperity
and
and
stuff.
fitness means you need to be
Exactly.
in a
Nobody
good
knew
shape.
about running, right? I mean, even now, of course, recently I've seen a lot. I'm seeing a lot of people in India talking about running, participating in races and stuff like that. But back in the day, without dating myself, uh, I don't think running was anywhere in the lexicon of health fanatics, right? Going
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
gym, lifting weights, bulking up,
yeah.
those were the things, and that's what I was kind of trying to do, but that wouldn't help. I was still a skinny kid. But then I moved to Baroda for my job,
Hmm.
and I do not know if you know this or not. I don't mean to stereotype an entire community, but maybe I'm doing this. Gujaratis' obsession with sweets, it's absolutely insane. They put sugar in everything. dal, and I mean everything. So that once I moved there, once I started eating Gujarati food, their obsession with sweets probably paved the way for what I would call my downward spiral in my health, body weight, etc. I started putting on weight. I started becoming very obese. And then fast forward a few years, I had to go to Belfast for again Belfast, Ireland, for an assignment for a year or so. And then there, I mean, I didn't bring my wife with me at that time. I just went by myself. And in Belfast, all I did, I mean, if I remember, my routine, daily routine was get up, eat some. I didn't even care about zero fat or low fat milk or anything like that. Rich fat laden milk, drink that with some coffee. And then afternoon would be the least healthy food you can imagine. If it is not fried, I wouldn't touch it. Fried, I mean, it was absolutely unhealthy. And then I come back in the evening, we eat potato chips. They call it crisps or whatever it is, the chips. And then you go to the local convenience store, all you pick up is all fat stuff. I don't know if they would call Twinkies or not. I don't remember. You know, the Twinkies in the US, we have that
Yeah, yeah.
thing. So equivalent of those Twinkies, that was all my food for about
Mm,
a year.
mm.
So you may not believe me. I mean, I may have pictures, not in my website, but definitely I may have a picture somewhere. Is you? I was four times the size of what you are looking at me now, almost 250 pounds,
Wow.
as obese as you can imagine. It's probably if you poke a needle in my, I mean, you'll probably get cholesterol straight out, not blood. Uh,
So in a way, you met the expectation of being
healthy kid.
prosperous and healthy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I met the healthy threshold, and maybe even I went slightly beyond that as well, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
So actually, I still remember my wife's reaction when I landed in Mumbai, when I on my return from London, Belfast, and then I went to London for some time. Then when I came back, she said, "Oh my God, what happened to you?" Like, there was no Facebook or anything, so I couldn't share real time pictures or anything like that. She saw me, "Oh my God, what the hell happened?" So then we moved to the United States. I was in Dallas for a year, and I remember that was the first time actually I went to even a doctor. I didn't even, because I didn't think that I had any
Yeah,
health
yeah,
issues
yeah,
besides
yeah,
the fact that I was overweight. I
yeah.
didn't even know that I was overweight.
Right.
I was fat,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but there was no health issue or anything like that. But in Dallas, I had to go to a doctor not because of any health issues, but
Mm.
routine
Yeah, yeah.
health checkup and stuff like that. But I was getting into the age bracket that I thought I should probably take care of myself.
Mm.
And the doctor, the first thing he said was, "Stop eating whatever you're eating.
Mm.
Maybe don't eat anything for a week." Something like that. Of course, all jokes aside, he put me on some cholesterol pills,
Mm.
high blood pressure drugs, and anything a typical doctor would recommend, right? To at
Yeah.
least to limit the damage.
Mm.
I did that, and at that time, he didn't even tell me anything about running or anything like that. So, and running was not even didn't even enter my mind even at that time. And then we moved to Chicago from Dallas, and in Chicago is when in my workplace, when I was talking to colleagues and stuff like that, conversation kind of started including gym and health and fitness and all that. And my curiosity, I didn't even think about any of those things. I thought, okay, now let's at least start going to the gym. And then I started going to the gym. I mean, like a routine, not like a gym rat. Like I didn't live in the gym all the time, but 3, 4 times a week. And that also used to be with every New Year, right? I mean, I know
Mm.
I'm kind of sounding cliched, but every New Year you make a resolution. I have got to go
Yeah,
to the gym. I used to do that for a month, or every New Year's it was the routine.
yeah,
Then it
yeah.
kind of tapered off. And
Mm.
then incidentally, I moved to California. The entire
Mm.
family, we moved to That's when my life changed.
Mm.
That's when the running bug bit me.
Mm.
Saw everybody. I moved to Orange County in California. Pretty much, I saw everyone outside in running gear and looking unrealistically fit.
Hmm.
So I said, "Oh my God, this is the world. People do this." So
Yeah.
I started running, and I couldn't even run for a mile without
Hmm.
losing
Hmm.
my breath or stopping and stuff. So I kept at it. I mean,
Hmm.
we'll get into the more details, but then I kept at it, and then I signed up for my first 5K in February of 2010.
Hmm.
And when my son, who was not a doctor at that time, who was still in school, he told me, Papa, he calls me Papa, Papa, you're going to kill yourself. Don't
Hmm.
do this.
Hmm.
But I completed my 5K, and here I am.
Here you are. Wow. Wow. Fascinating. So, first 5K, and so I guess, like many, you started the whole idea of running and gym to get healthier. And this was, what age bracket were you in when you started this? Late 40s or early 40s?
Yeah, late 40s, early mid
Late 40s.
40s.
Okay. So, it's never late. It's never
It's
late.
never late. I know people in my running journey, in my running travels all over the world. I have seen people, I have interacted with people who started running after they became 60 years old.
Yeah.
So if your body can cope with it, and if you can listen to the signals and
Yeah.
adapt to it,
Yeah.
age is, I mean, I know it's again another cliche, age is just a number. Even if you get up and run and walk, do it.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
cares?
Yeah. Yeah. Great. So, 5K, and then obviously in the last 10 years, you've really taken on long distance running with a vengeance, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
So, how did that happen? How did you end up doing your first marathon?
Yeah, so like I said, I registered for my first 5K, and when I did that, I didn't even know what a good time would be for a
Hmm.
5K.
Hmm.
The only thing I knew was I had to look it up. How many miles is a 5K? So 3.1 miles, and then I did some mental calculation. I thought, okay, if I finish the race without falling flat or without losing my life in about 30 to 35 minutes, I think I should be okay. I didn't know what a good time was or anything like that,
Yeah.
right? So I finished it in about 28 minutes or so. And then the first thing I did was I ordered the photograph for the race. I put it on a wooden frame, hung it up on the wall. I thought I conquered the world, and that was done. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do anything again, right? And then as I posted that on my Facebook. This was back in 2010, right? So some of those comments on this picture, because a lot of people knew that I'm not really a health fanatic. I was not a health fanatic. So everybody was, people who knew me very well, they surprised. What? You did a 5K? So that kind of almost egged me on. And says, oh yeah, now I'm getting likes on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, that's a. I mean, people may or may not acknowledge this, but that is kind of a motivating factor.
Yeah.
You see people on social media reacting to you. It's almost a self fulfilling thing, right?
Yeah.
It's almost egotistical in some way. So I said, oh, now people are beginning to really like what I'm doing. So let's sign
Yeah.
up for an 8K. I did an 8K in, I think, March or something in the same
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
And then I signed up for a 10K in Orange County, Seal Beach 10K. I remember that very first 10K. In fact, that race, I think the temperature was in California weather, Southern California weather. If you know, it's never cold, but I did not know what kind of dress to, I mean, the running
Yeah.
gear to wear or anything. I mean, I was not really a runner. I had done only a
Yeah.
couple of races.
Yeah. Yeah.
So everybody was in that singleton and the very shorts, and I was in a full pant and a full sleeves, and I looked completely out of place for a 10K this back in 2010. I ran the 10K. And then I was talking to my sons. They still couldn't believe that I was doing this. I ran a
Uh-huh.
10K and stuff. Interestingly, what happened at that time was I told my younger son, I said, hey, why are we running in California? Let's run
Yeah.
somewhere else. Let's start going somewhere else. Maybe start seeing some places and stuff.
Yeah.
So he was the one who suggested, why run the US? Maybe look up somewhere in Europe. Let's go. Let's do a weekend. So
Okay.
I started searching online. Again, I had no idea what a running race registration process meant.
Hmm.
What does that mean? I mean, how do you do it and like that? So again, as usual, you start Googling. Then I have no idea why I landed on that race particularly. I landed on Stockholm half marathon. So I said,
Okay.
hey, I told my son, hey, let's go to Stockholm, let's go on a Friday, run the race. It was a Saturday afternoon race, and then come back Sunday. I don't even have to miss a day of work. Let's do that. And he said, yeah, sure, let's do it. And then we
Wow.
took a flight, we went to Stockholm. We ran that half marathon, he and I both together.
Oh, wow.
That was my very first half marathon in Stockholm. And then we came back, and while I was coming back on the plane, I was telling him, "Hey, now I think I should really run a marathon. I've
Uh-huh.
done a half. Now I think maybe I should run." Everybody said again, "Oh, you haven't had enough training." And it is, I think it was September of 2010 was my half
Mhm.
marathon, and I said I'm going to sign up for Chicago in October. It was 10/10/2010.
Hmm.
October 10, 2010. I still have that jersey and the bib and everything, 10/10/10. So I said, I'm going to sign up for that in about only 3 weeks. I'll deal with it. I'll figure out the
Mhm.
stuff. So I signed up for Chicago. That was my very first marathon. I ran. I'm not even going to talk about the time. You can always look it up. It was not
Yeah.
exactly a great time. And plus, again, I never knew what a good
Mhm.
time was. I
Mhm.
mean,
Mhm.
I knew all these Kenyan and Ethiopian runners would run 2 hours and stuff like that, that I couldn't
Yeah.
even wrap my head around that speed.
Yeah.
But I did not care about what my time would be. I never was aiming for that, anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I finished Chicago, and it kept going and going. I mean, um, the running a marathon started like, yeah, I have to do something to take care of my health and stuff like that.
Mm.
And then as I've started doing this, it almost, my wife, in fact, at some point suggested that you have to get into a runner's rehab because it almost became an obsessive sickness. I'm not recommending that for everybody,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it became almost an incurable illness. It,
That happened later,
yeah,
I guess, right?
yeah,
But let's dial back a little bit on your first half in Stockholm, which is very fascinating because it also became a son father project, I guess, right?
absolutely,
Right? Right.
absolutely.
So how was it running your first half marathon? You seem to have kind of organically, it's not necessarily very structured, but you did a 5K. You felt like you're doing a half marathon, and
Correct.
then it
Yeah.
seems like impulsively you moved your ball forward.
Yeah, that's a
So how
great
was it for
question.
you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
great question. Actually, if any purist were to either hear this or look at my story, they would go crazy. They would not recommend it for everybody, right? Because you have to really listen to your body.
Yeah.
You have to really kind of increase your threshold for tolerance for pain,
Mm,
your
mm, mm.
cardio, and everything, right? I don't think I followed the textbook regimen of training, to
Mm,
tell you the
mm,
truth.
mm, mm.
I am not saying that that might work for everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
It did for me in the sense, I think, again, every body is different and
Mm.
everybody is different, right? What I mean by
Yeah,
that is every body is physical, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
everybody is mental.
Mm,
So you have to kind of listen to your body and to your mind.
mm.
So I think I don't think it was a mistake on my part because if I look back in time, whatever I did, it has worked out okay.
Yeah.
But you have to listen to your mind as much as you have to listen to the body.
Mm,
Um, I probably didn't listen to the body as much as I listened to my mind in the sense that, yeah,
mm,
let's do it, let's do it,
mm,
let's do it.
mm, mm,
So my body took a toll.
mm,
My times were not improving, and I had uh, the calf injuries, not
mm,
injuries, but at least one or two injuries that would. Here's where again I would not recommend this for anybody
mm,
who is starting recreational running and starting to run marathons. If you are injured, rest,
mm.
recover. Don't push yourself.
Yep.
And I did, but in my case, it didn't worsen
Mm.
for whatever reason. My body was
Yeah.
okay.
So that was something you probably caught on later. But your first half marathon, right? How did that go? I mean, what was your experience of?
I remember I ran in Stockholm.
Yeah.
So half the race I was still like, oh my god, I'm running in
Yeah,
Stockholm.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't even feel my legs. It was like
Wow.
going right, pumping. I was looking at the city. And that was the first race that I see a bunch of people on the streets cheering me on and stuff like that. That whole
Mm,
adrenaline, that
mm,
was the first experience. My
good.
first 5K, yeah, there were some people there and stuff like that. It was early morning in California, not a lot of people. My 10K was the same thing. And then this was the first race where I see the whole city lining up the streets. And then that was my first experience getting exposed to the crowd and cheering me and stuff like that. I've never been cheered on in my life before, ever, for anything I did. So that adrenaline kept me going and going and going. That was a fantastic time. I finished it, I think, in less than 2 hours, which I thought was incredible. And my son beat me, of course. He was much younger. But that half marathon, I think we kind of, if I remember right, that was an evening race. It finished around 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. or something like that. And then we went to the hotel. I used that half marathon as an excuse to drink myself to almost like a lot of beer. And had a good rest. And next day I took a flight back to LA.
Terrific. So, if I hear your story so far, right? You started a 5K, uh, social media likes,
Yeah,
it got you pumped up. You said, "Hey, I'm doing something right here," and
right.
it seems to I'm getting a lot of cheer. And then you did this half marathon. From what I hear, again, crowd, huge applause. Again, your adrenaline is up. You seem to be motivated. You come back, sign for a full marathon. It's all you're charged up. And then how did the full marathon go? What happened in the full marathon?
Yeah, full marathon is something I'm not going to gloat about it, in the sense that that's not a time again that I'm going to
Hmm.
mention anything to
Yeah,
anybody.
yeah.
But the I woefully underestimated the
Hmm.
distance.
Hmm.
People sometimes you kind of make that mental mistake. Yeah, I run 3 miles, so running 6 miles shouldn't be a big deal. It's just twice. Oh yeah, I done six
Yeah,
miles.
yeah,
Oh yeah, running half shouldn't be a big deal. It's another
yeah,
double.
yeah, yeah.
That's where you make that mistake. I mean, you hear all the time, you read all the time, right? Runner's wall, 20
Yeah,
miles, you hit the wall and stuff like that. When you read, oh, what's the wall? There's no
yeah,
wall and stuff.
yeah, yeah,
But then the body tells you.
yeah, yeah.
You
So
keep
did that
running.
happen to you? Did
Oh
that happen
yeah.
to you?
Oh,
Uh-huh.
absolutely. The lactose builds up and your
Uh,
half seizes up, and oh my
uh-huh.
God, what did I sign myself here?
Yeah,
What
yeah,
did I do? But then
yeah.
again, Chicago Marathon, I have no idea if people know this or not. That's one of the best marathons in the world.
Mm, mm,
It's like millions of people on the sidelines,
yeah.
and there's not an inch of road that you don't have people. I
Mm,
mean, it's one of the most well organized races, and it was kind of my adopted hometown because I lived in Chicago for many, many years.
mm,
So that whole experience of running in a city that I liked, the atmosphere, and that is what carried me,
mm,
not
mm.
my body. My body gave up probably
Yeah.
mile 18 or mile 19.
Mm, mm,
And then it was all the mind, the crowd, the music and stuff. I kept going. And I ended up walking probably after mile 18, half the distance I walked,
mm, mm,
which is again
mm.
not a shameful thing to say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
80% of the recreational runners, they might probably walking their way through
yeah,
a marathon at
yeah,
least some
yeah,
distance,
yeah,
which is the goal is to finish.
yeah, yeah. Terrific. So you did the half full, and you may have suffered through it a little bit, but then you seem to have got hooked, right?
Yeah,
So because if you look at your average of marathons in the last 10 years, it's been almost 10 per year.
right.
So how did that happen?
Yeah,
Did you just sign up for the next one, the end of Chicago, or?
yeah. Once I finished Chicago, then as soon as I went to the hotel, I decided, oh, this experience is something that I want to live through again.
Mm, mm, no.
I have to sign up. Then as usual, I started Googling what is the next one, immediately next one. So October 10th was my Chicago Marathon, and October 30th was Marine Corps Marathon in DC. Oh, I'm going
Mm,
to run this. My body, I've run this. I don't want to give up now. Let me do that. I signed up. I ended up running the Marine Corps Marathon, which was a better time than
mm,
Chicago Marathon. And the funny thing is, again, this is all sounds so amateurish and so childish now when I look back. Initially, at least for the first year, I would say, now I don't do it anymore, is I used to wear the T-shirt of the previous race I ran
mm.
thinking that people would look at me and say, "Wow, he ran Chicago." So I did the. I wore the Chicago Marathon T-shirt, and I ran the DC. So
Okay.
people, oh wow, you ran Chicago 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and you're running this. So that again was kind of a motivational boost for me. Wow, people are noticing it. People who
Yeah.
I don't know who he is, and he
Yeah.
is now calling me out with the name Mohan on it and stuff like that. So I signed up. I mean, I ran the Marine Corps Marathon, and I think in Marine Corps, if I remember correctly, when I started talking to other people and stuff, saw some people with a Marathon Maniac T-shirt.
Mm. Mm.
And I asked them, "Hey, what is this? What is Marathon Maniac?" Then they explained to me there is a
Mm.
group called Marathon Maniacs. If you run, I think like 12 marathons a year or some number that I didn't
Mm.
even kind of comprehend at that time. So then I started looking up what is this Marathon Maniac and stuff. Then that's when I stumbled across 50 states. That a lot of people have goal of running in 50 states. So I latched onto it. I said, "Whoa, this is a great opportunity to see the entire country
Yeah.
and also kind of do it as rapidly as I can." I did not know I would do it as fast though.
Mm.
I thought, okay, I should do it, but I don't want to take 20 years or 30 years. I have
Yeah.
to do it
Yeah.
as fast as I can. Then I think 2011, I ran like 10 marathons or something. And then I don't know again what kind of sparked that in my head. I kind of formed that goal of I have to run 12 in 12, 13 in 13, 14 in 14, 15 in 15, like that. I started doing that mental math. I said, if I do that, I'll finish my 100, my 50 states in the 2014 or 2015. And
Mm.
then as I was doing that, then the 100 marathon also came into my head. We can talk about it later if you want. But the 50 states was almost like an accidental goal, accidental
Mm.
target that it just
Mm.
kind of, I stumbled on it. Then did that. I wanted to do it fast because it again was some kind of almost an obsessive compulsive disorder.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, I'm not saying I would recommend this for anybody who would just like that want to get into running. I mean, people might be able to do it, but you have to listen to your body.
Yeah. So why do you it's fascinating that there's something that obviously was there was something you're getting out of this, right? Just gamifying this, you're pushing limits, you're going after this. What do you think it
It's
was?
self-confidence, right? It's
Hmm.
absolutely
Hmm.
self-confidence. I mean, you go to the gym, you work out, you do a regular thing and stuff like that. You feel
Hmm.
good.
Hmm.
But then when you do something, I'm not saying running is the only thing, right? I mean,
Hmm.
anything that pushes the physical limits, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Normal people. I'm not saying
Yeah.
Kipchoge, or I'm not saying super
Yeah.
athletes. Those
Yeah.
guys are
Yeah.
all like different breed. But regular people who have a 9 to 5 working life, family,
Hmm.
career, and you have a mortgage to take care of, you have your son's student there. I mean, all kinds of routine
Yeah. Yeah.
problems and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
For you really need something to hold on to, right? I
Hmm.
mean, you need something. It could be not reading a book, not sitting in one
Hmm.
place writing. That
Hmm.
would be good. That is creative passion. But for
Hmm.
physical, your
Hmm.
adrenaline has to flow. In order for you
Hmm.
to do that, you have to do something,
Hmm.
run or go to the gym and spend some crossfit or something like that. To me, I
Right.
picked up that running because it
Hmm.
boosted my self-confidence.
Hmm.
I started to look good.
Hmm.
I started to feel good.
Yeah.
And the annoying part is running almost occupied my life
Hmm.
for some time. So
Hmm.
any conversation, my icebreaker would be about running. And people who like running would like it. People who hated running would run away from me.
That's true with all runners.
Right?
That's true with runners. And I've also found I also found that even if you don't want to talk about running,
Yeah.
if they know that you are a runner,
Yeah.
someone is always going to ask you that
Yeah, like
question.
you're asking me to join your podcast for God's sakes.
So whether you want to bring that up or not, you will get drawn into it, and
Yeah.
then and I also think that people are fascinated because I feel that everybody wants that, right? Because when before I started running, or before you started running, when you saw those people, looking so good, looking happy, looking self confident, and then you wonder, hey. why can't I be do that?
Exactly.
So there's a lot of curiosity
Absolutely.
when especially when you somebody comes to know that you run 26.2 miles.
Yeah.
Like, really, how did you do that? Why do you
Yeah.
do that?
Yeah.
So it so I think it's just that everybody wants to
Yeah,
do it.
exactly. I mean, a lot of people, again, this is not criticism against anybody. Many people do not even know what a marathon distance is, right?
Yeah, yeah,
26.2. Oh, you done a marathon. Oh, you did a 10K marathon. Good. No, I didn't do a
yeah.
10K. I did the 26.2 miles, right? So, but my son, I mean, I talked about my son in the past, right? I mean, my son, who is now a spine surgeon in New York,
Hmm.
he all the time, even now, he tells me, you are really pushing your body. One day it
Hmm.
is just your knee is going to give out and then
Yeah,
you're going to stop. I
yeah,
said, and let us wait until that day comes. I'm going to
yeah,
keep doing what I love doing and I'm going to keep running. So,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Beautiful. So that's a lot of gold, Mohan, that you shared. I think the why of it is very important, and the fact that you shared about self confidence. That's very powerful because I think in our day to day life we get so caught up with trying to meet goals and mostly a lot of times obligations of life, and then you have something like running, which allows you to express yourself differently,
absolutely.
explore a different dimension of you, and then it builds your self confidence, and it comes back and feeds into your daily life as well.
Absolutely. I mean, you don't even have to run a marathon, right? I mean, I'm not saying
Yeah,
marathon is kind of the threshold
yeah,
you have to hit. Not everybody needs to run a marathon to feel good about themselves.
right.
Just run 2 miles a
Yeah,
day,
yeah,
right? Anything is
yeah.
good.
The other thing I want to call out, which is a lot of gold in what you shared, Mohan, in the way you approached it, is to gamify it. Like, 12 and 12, 13 and 13.
Right.
You said you will travel around 50 states. I think that's very valuable tip, because I think everybody starts something and then is not able to sustain uh, because motivational issues or whatever. But when you gamify it this way, it keeps the fun, and you keep
Absolutely.
keep at it. So I think that's another takeaway
Absolutely.
from what you've
Yeah,
done.
totally. I mean, the 50 states was something like that, right? I said, okay, I don't think a lot. I mean, again, I do not know how many people from South Asia or India have done all the 50 states. I'm sure there must
Mm,
be a lot of people. I felt up, I approached it. Well, I would be in a very
yeah,
short circle of people
yeah,
that have done something like this, because I can never hope to do a 2 hour marathon, but I can do something like this. This is the
yeah,
beauty of marathon, right?
yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
runs, everybody can finish. So I did that. And then as I was doing it, I read, I don't remember the name of the gentleman, Brent, I forget his last name, escapes me.
Hmm.
He lives in Wyoming, and he has run like me, like tons of marathons and stuff like that.
Mm.
But then he has run in 100 countries.
Oh, wow.
I read his story. I said, "Oh, this is another thing that I have to probably try." So that's when my international travel kicked up.
Uh-huh.
I said, "No, I enough with this US run. Maybe I should run 100 marathons, but then cover a lot of countries." So I started doing international travel and started increasing my race count to get to that 100 marathons. And then along the way, I encountered a lot of people who had done. Not a lot of people, but some people who had done all the 7 continents and stuff. So,
Mm.
as you know, I did not even know about these things.
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
That these kinds of things existed. So as you run the country, run the world, interact with people, you come to know a lot of insane people like me exist. So I said, okay, why not do this? Then I started doing the 7 continents, including Antarctica, North Pole, and so on. So
Yeah. I have a sticker on the back of my car which says that running is a mental sport and we are
yeah,
all insane.
totally, yeah. My wife still says I'm a lunatic. So
Yeah, yeah. No, that's beautiful. So coming back to this volume, the way you've been 10 marathons a year is no joke, right? Whatever pace you're running at, you may be running slow pace, that's fine. Even then, it's a fair amount of volume of running. So What do you think worked in your favor? What?
Yeah, again, I don't want to underestimate the power of training, right? I may not
Mm,
have followed the textbook style of training,
mhm,
like
mhm,
you have to run a 20-mile long run and you have
mm,
to rest. I may not have followed that regimen to the
mhm,
letter, but I
mm,
did train myself. I used to wake
mm,
up at 3:30 in the morning. That was my routine
mm.
because I had a
Wow.
busy work life. Every
Mm,
morning at 3:30, I'm an early morning person. So I wake up at 3:30. If the weather is nice outside, where we lived in Chicago, I would run outside. In the winter months,
mm,
I would go to the gym and I hit the treadmill. I would be running on the treadmill like 30 to 40 miles a week was my
mm,
routine.
mm,
Uh, Give or take a few here and there. Some weeks, if I travel or something like that, that week might be a light week. But I never not trained. Even though I ran
mm,
too many marathons, it was not like between marathons I was taking rest.
mm,
I did go through my bout of injuries. It was not like
mm,
I was injury free. In fact, 2018 or 19, I don't remember again which year was it. That was the first year I had to miss Chicago Marathon because I was running Chicago
mm,
Marathon right from 2010 all the years. I think 2018 or 2019 I missed it because of plantar fasciitis injury. I
mm.
simply could not put my foot down on the floor. I had to go through therapy. I went through a massage regimen and all
Yeah.
that. 8 months of non-running, then I
Wow.
bounced back. I felt completely useless those 8 months. I
Mm,
felt like, oh my God, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing one thing that I was doing well.
mm,
But I bounced back. And then, of course, COVID brought my travel to a halt. Now I'm
mm.
trying to pick it back up.
Yeah, so your plantar fasciitis, I understand, but I from what I hearing from you, you started in 2010, but you've not had anything major that
No major injuries, no
continued
knee
you, right?
injuries, no
No
fractures,
MU,
nothing.
nothing like that. Which is so. What do you think worked for you there?
Um,
What were you doing? Something you were doing right,
Yeah,
obviously.
I don't know. My father was not a runner. Otherwise, I would have thanked him for his genes. But I don't know. I mean, I can't really pinpoint to something that is working
Mm,
in my favor. I eat okay. I wouldn't say I eat very picky, healthy food
mm,
or anything
mm,
like
mm,
that. I mean, I eat every now and then. I
mm,
indulge myself, and
mm,
I'm not like looking at the textbook. Okay, I have to measure my calories. I'm not like
mm,
that.
mhm,
Um, it just worked out okay to me, and
mm,
I know purists would probably say that this is not what everybody should be doing or whatnot.
mm.
But I would say if it works for you, do it. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah. I think 30 to 40 miles a week is a fair bit of bombardment to
On
your
the body.
musculoskeletal system. So definitely there could be many reasons that you may have one must be doing. One is you may have been running at a lightly. That could be during the training runs. That I don't know if that kind of helped
Yeah,
in
I don't run
making sure.
faster than 8.5 to 9 minutes, or sometimes nine and a half
Yeah.
minutes. I don't go faster than that.
Right, right. And then I don't know, stress. Maybe you manage your stress well. You are sleeping well. You are resting well. I mean, all of these are things people
Yeah,
typically
exactly.
report,
Yeah,
right?
so I'm glad you're bringing those things up, right? Absolutely. Because I wake up at 3:30 I woke up at
Mm,
3:30 in the mornings. I would go to bed around 8:39 in the night.
mm, mm,
I would never like stay up at midnight or anything like that. 6 to 7 hours of sleep was
mm,
always a thing. And I would, like you said, I would. In fact, I do not know if running brought calmness to my thinking, or
mm.
it was I was because I am calm. It helped my running. I don't know which is which, but ever since I started running, my entire kind of attitude and kind of interacting with people and stuff like that, everything, I became more cheerful,
Yeah,
and I became more calm, zen like, and I don't know what
yeah.
caused what.
And as you progressed, right? Did your perspective of approach to running change, evolve at all? Or were you more strategic? Were you beginning? Did that evolve?
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
mindset about it, your
Abs-
experience and mindset
yeah,
about it.
absolutely.
How did that change?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I had more experience, right? I mean,
Mm,
I
mm,
knew exactly what to expect. So
mm,
The first, I would say, probably first 2 years or something, it was a lot of bravado. Oh, I can run
Mm,
this marathon. I'm going to run this. I don't care. I wouldn't
mm,
check the weather. I wouldn't check anything. I would just, yeah, let's just run. What's a big deal?
yeah, yeah.
But then after that, I started deciding on what race to run when, meaning like in the month of May, I should pick a colder climate or
Mm,
some things like that, right? I mean,
mm,
picking the right place, picking the right race,
mm,
picking the right logistics, meaning what time you catch a flight to be there so you get more lead time to rest,
mm,
and things like that. Those are all tiny, tiny things.
yeah,
But those, especially if you want to run a race, right? In a race where a lot of people are running, big race and stuff like that, you kind of plan during the run. Obviously you have to plan a lot of things, what gear to wear,
yeah,
what
yeah.
shoes to wear, and all that. But then around all the other logistics around the race, that is also very important.
Mm,
Where do you stay, how far from the finish line, or how far from the start line? Do you want to walk to the start
yeah,
line, things like what do you eat? Do you pack something from home, or do you buy something there? Are there restaurant? I mean, I would always go to Google Map and see what are all the restaurants nearby my hotel or the start area. What food can I get from where and stuff like that. Those are all lot of
yeah.
planning that went into each race.
Yeah, yeah. And what about your weekly runs, training runs? Did that change? I mean, were you mixing like, were you using any particular method, or it was more your
No,
own?
I mean, I would do this. I mean, I don't even know what the textbook style would be, call it intermittent run or something like that. I would go
Mm,
like a 7.5 minute a mile and stuff like that for a mile and two, and then I
mm,
would drop to 10 minutes. I mean, it's kind of, I would, even on the treadmill, I would go very fast for
mm,
about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then I would stop almost and walk,
mm,
and then I would run. And then I have done the run walk routine. I would run for about 10 minutes, walk for two
mm,
minutes, run for 10 minutes, walk for 2 minutes. So I
mm.
do that, but it's all mixed. I don't, like I said, I never followed a very pure textbook
Yeah,
style.
yeah,
This is the routine you have to
yeah,
follow to
yeah,
train for a marathon. I've never done that. I'm not saying everybody should be doing that. I don't know what is
yeah,
right or what is
yeah.
wrong, but it has worked for me.
That's quite fascinating, Mohan. When I hear your story, uh, you've run like so many of these. 110 is no joke, by the way, by any standards, to have done 110 full marathons. And you've done it very organically. You've done it, self-supported, for lack of a better word. You've not referred to any books or,
No.
very, very fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, luckily it has worked for me. I can't
Yeah.
emphasize that enough.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, what I'm taking away is definitely is that, consistency has been key for you.
Absolutely.
um, and like you said, you've been doing some kinds of run walks, so just making sure you're listening to. I think you were I'm guessing that you're somebody who's very uh, sensitive about how your body is feeling.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
it seems like you just using that as an input to decide how to run next day.
Correct. Yeah.
Right, it seems
Absolutely.
like
You
that.
have to listen to every small signal the body sends. I mean, you
Yeah,
may not, that's part of the expertise. I mean, calling it expertise, I'm making it sound like I'm very genius or anything. You will get that knack
yeah,
that
yeah,
when your body tells you something that, hey, stop, stop, slow down,
yeah,
pick up the speed and go run. I mean, you have to listen to it.
yeah. No, that I think is your, I would say, a secret recipe here, because you seem to be someone who's just really been in tune with
Yeah.
yourself, and and just doing, just responding to that. Um, what about things like stretching and massage? Do you
Yeah.
do that a lot?
Yeah, totally. Not before the. I mean, before the race, you do normal stretches and stuff like that, while you are standing up and lining up for the start and all that. But then post race, I definitely do a lot of stretches as soon as I
Mm,
finish. I mean, I just don't go like walk off into the hotel or anything like that. I do stretches, and then as soon as I go to the hotel or as soon as I get back to my home, I definitely get an hour's worth of deep tissue massage.
mm.
Absolutely, that is
See,
my. That
another
is
secret
my
recipe.
I have not given up on that. I have not abandoned that till date.
Yes,
Even now, even after the New York race, it's deep tissue massage. Go to a massage parlor, go to a professional, get
yes,
all the knots removed, get the body all the detoxified, get it detoxified,
Yeah.
and so that you can up and run again. you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. So there you go. That's another secret recipe there, right?
yeah,
If I were to summarize the top three in what's working for you, A, you're very much in tune with your body. You listen to your body, and that's allowing you to run as much as you can. There are days I'm guessing there are days you run fast, there are days when you
correct,
run slow, but you are in tune with your body. That's one big takeaway, huge
absolutely,
gold.
yeah,
um, Second, you stretch, and after runs you stretch, you make sure your muscles are getting all the blood flow. um, Third is massage, very important. You that helps with recovery. And I would also probably add the fourth thing which you mentioned, which is you get enough sleep. I mean, you get rest.
yeah.
So these four is what I'm kind
And
of
eat well
taking
also.
away.
Eat well and eat, follow some routine. I mean, you don't have to
Yeah,
like look at your clock all the time. Okay, it's 1 p.m. I have to eat lunch. It doesn't have to
yeah,
be that
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, yeah.
But don't go crazy with I'm eating breakfast one day at 6 a.m. and then skipping breakfast another day and then something.
Yes,
Don't go crazy like that. Follow some
right.
routine of food.
Yeah, common sense, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
Mohan, your approach is so common sense. It's
Exactly.
the five things,
Right.
uh, common sense approach, but they're so powerful.
Right. Yeah.
They're very,
I mean, the
they
reward is a nice glass of beer after the race.
there you go.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to say no to beer.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I always look
Yeah,
forward to it after the race.
yeah, yeah. That is so wonderful. That is so wonderful. And and from a time management perspective, it seems like you're an early riser, so you're able to get your runs in early. What about family commitments? And how did you
Yeah,
balance that?
because I woke up early in the morning, I never bothered any of them. So that was what in my favor. It was I was subjecting myself to that harsh training routine. But the weekends when I would travel for races,
Hmm.
that's when I really leaned on their support. I mean, we have a dog, so my wife has to walk the dog, and she has to do everything, and so pretty much I was out every weekend.
Hmm.
Running somewhere, either a half marathon or full marathon, somewhere, right? So without that family commitment and support, I would not have been able to do it. So I took care of them probably during the week, and they paid me
Yeah.
back during the weekend, I guess.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
not an easy thing for about like when I was doing all this. Even now, if I start picking up the pace and travel again, I have to be mindful of how much I want to do it, how much more aggressively I want to do this, or I want to scale back.
And I think the takeaway from your journey, Mohan, is that you're a regular guy. You have a regular job. You have a regular family, and yet it's possible. To do what you did. If you want to do 100 marathons, fine. But even if you want to do one marathon a year,
Exactly.
hey, it's so much possible. That's what your
Absolutely.
story really demonstrates.
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
and and just common sense. It's not through major rocket science. You don't have to go break your head. And
Right.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So I want to have you share with us. You've done these so many races. So maybe we'll start with international ones. You've done all the continents. Uh, Anything that stands out as a wow? That was my you
Um,
know.
yeah, a lot of them. I mean, I don't remember the sequence in which I ran these things, but I've done some places that I wouldn't have even thought of going for a vacation or something like that,
Okay.
right? I mean, I did one race it was called Midnight Sun Marathon.
Uh-huh.
The month of May or June, I don't remember, when the sun never sets in Norway. It's in a city called Tromsø. It's the
Uh-huh.
northernmost city before you go to the North Pole. They have a marathon. It starts at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. at night, bright sunshine,
Oh,
and then you run through the night. It's called a Midnight Sun Marathon. I would never have imagined going there, but for my running
yeah.
craziness. And then I have done the Antarctic Marathon, South Pole. You go to
Mm.
Chile, you get on. I mean, actually, the whole thing is by traveling to the South Pole. You pretty much give up on your plan or itinerary or anything like that. It's all the weather, right? You
Mm.
land in Chile and then you wait there until the weather clears up or something. So I don't remember which day we landed, maybe Monday or Tuesday or something. We were supposed to fly out the next day, but then the weather over Antarctica worsened and we got stuck in Chile for 2 days, 3 days. The flight wouldn't take
Mm.
off. So you take off from a plane, you land on Antarctic. They have they build tents for all the runners. There's only 40, 50 runners. You run on ice on it's desert, right? I mean Antarctic, but then it's packed with obviously ice. You run on ice. You run 13 loops of
Mm.
2 miles each. So that was one race that I will never ever forget. And then the North Pole is another
Mm.
same thing. You go to Norway, Svalbard is the northernmost city, and then you take a polar aircraft to land on Arctic Ocean. You
Wow.
get out, you run, get back, and then get in the plane and no, get in a helicopter, go to the geographic North Pole, put up flag there, and take a picture, and then come back to the tent in the helicopter, get on the polar plane, get back to Norway. So that was another race I will never ever forget. And then I've
Wow.
run in the Alps, the Swiss Alps, go up
Mm.
8,000 feet,
Mm.
then descend. That was another great race. A lot of good international races. I've run in Cape Town.
Wow.
It was a good race. So
Lovely. And nationally, out of the 50 that you did, anything that is your
Chicago would
favorite?
always rank as my
Mm.
favorite.
Mm.
I mean, I've been running every year except one year, which I missed, and then the COVID year when it was cancelled.
Mm.
So that would definitely rank as one of the top races. Then Boston,
Mm.
which is you have to qualify. I mean, Boston was something that I would absolutely take pride in saying
Mm.
that I ran Boston. And then a lot of California, San Francisco is another fantastic race to run. It's hilly and
Yeah,
all
yeah,
that, but
yeah.
that's a
Mm.
beautiful city.
Mm.
And Dallas is where I think you are in Dallas, right?
I'm in Houston.
Houston, oh, sorry. So Houston, I've run in Houston. I wouldn't put Houston as one of my top races, sorry.
Mm.
But Dallas was definitely a great, and Austin is another great race.
Yeah, yeah. Lovely, lovely. And you must have run in Alaska too, right?
I did in Anchorage. I ran
Anchorage.
Anchorage. Yeah. I mean, Anchorage, it runs through not exactly the most exciting parts of the city. So that's why I
Mm.
don't remember it as much. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I did.
yeah.
Honolulu, I ran. That was another tough race. It starts at 4 a.m. in the morning.
Lovely, lovely. And so, what next? The half marathon project is the next.
Yes, that's what I mean. I will be running marathons. Obviously, I'm running Marine Corps. I'm running Chicago. I'm running New York City this year, and those my major marathons will of course continue. And I'll run a
Mm.
marathon every now and then. But now I'm registering mostly half marathons to complete in all the 50 states. I think I've done 15 or 16 of them so far. So still a long way to
Mm.
go.
In terms of food, you stick to Indian food, or have you has your food
No, I do
habits
not.
changed?
I do not stick to Indian food. I mean, I don't dislike Indian food,
Mm.
but I wouldn't put Indian food as the top of my list of regular
Mm.
food. I eat a lot of pasta.
Mm.
I eat Greek food. So Indian, I do eat Indian food. I do not eat as much rice as you might think that I might, but I eat a lot of other things, rotis and stuff.
Cool. I think Mohan, we covered a fair bit of ground here. It's fascinating for someone who who's done so much in running. You remain very grounded and very
Oh,
common
thank you.
sense.
Thanks for helping me relive my last 10 years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think if I were to take away, those are the five big secrets of your secret recipe, and maybe you may want to write a little bit more about it because I'm
Yeah,
sure others can learn from your success.
absolutely.
And so, I'm coming to the last part of our conversation where I have a fun Q&A round with
Oh,
my
sure.
guests.
Sure.
So, you ready for that?
Fire away.
Fire away. Let's do that. Let me pick up this question. The first one
Yeah.
is, what's your favorite junk food that you like to?
Oh, junk food. I would say definitely fried chicken, not KFC fried chicken, but fried chicken. And again, don't be misled by my last name.
Yes.
I eat non-vegetarian food,
Yeah.
fried chicken, and then cannoli. Any sweet, I think cannoli will be my definitely my sin food. Ice
Hmm.
cream, of course.
Yeah. Nice. Your favorite pre-race food?
Oh, I think I eat the routine, the bars. It's I forget the name. I eat the energy bars.
Hmm.
That's my only pre-race food. I don't eat. I mean, I eat a banana.
Hmm.
More than likely, I would have a banana with me, and then the race bar, energy bar.
So, do you have these rituals of pre-race carbo loading and things like that? You still do that?
I mean, the way I eat, the way I've been training, it's loading all the time. I don't have to like carb load
Yeah,
prior to
yeah,
the race.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, it's yeah. I don't do it as like I said. It's a textbook would recommend that you have to carb load. You
yeah,
go to a
yeah,
place to run. You go to a hotel. Chances are you are going to order a pasta, which is
yeah,
carb loading.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. Totally. What's your favorite way to spend a lazy day other than running?
oh, I do not know if I have had a lazy day. Work occupies me. I mean, maybe
Hmm.
fewer emails would be my lazy day. I think.
Hmm. So, what do you like to do when you have that extra time other than
I,
running?
I work consumes me. I mean, my work
Hmm.
professional life takes away the rest of the time, and plus my dog is there. I walk with him
Hmm.
and stuff. So there's always something. Plus, you can always stream something on the TV and watch something. So
Yeah, yeah. So, does your dog run with you?
he used to. He has become an older dog now. He's got
Hmm.
bad knees. Actually, he has got knee problem with running with me, but not me. Yeah, he walks with me.
What kind of a dog do you have?
He's a mixed breed. We still
Hmm.
don't know officially what mix he is. We rescued him in California. We think he
Hmm.
is some Basset and some German Shepherd mix.
Nice, nice.
Funny looking dog.
A bucket list race that's
Oh,
on your list.
Comrades Marathon, South Africa.
Comrades.
Yeah, I have to register. I registered once. I couldn't travel because of work commitment. That's on my list. I
Nice,
have to
nice,
do it. I know a lot of people in my friend circle have done that. That's something I would like to check off.
nice. And the last one is if we decided to make a movie of your life
Oh,
journey so far, A, what genre, what category would you put it in? And B, there's a more important question is B, who would you hire as an actor to play you?
oh, that's a good question. What genre? What is the most boring genre? um, maybe sports type genre, I guess.
Hmm.
And then who would I play? Chevy Chase,
Chevy
maybe.
Chase. Is that
Somebody
your
like.
favorite actor?
No, he's not a favorite. My son's name is Chevy, so that's why probably I remembered him. I guess I do not know. Yeah, he's the one that just came to my mind. I can't think of a Bollywood actor who could play my story, but
Okay.
it's a good question,
Awesome.
though. I should think about it.
What do you think about it? Yeah, because we probably can send them a script.
Yeah.
Lovely. Thanks, Mohan. You did well. We learned a few more things about you in the process. We're kind of coming to the end of our conversations. As a wrap up, any final, message to the audience that you want to pass on?
Again, thank you for having me. I mean, I never thought in a million years that I would be talking for an hour about my running. 5 minutes would be enough to send people away. But I think people should probably know that running is not the only way to keep fit.
Mhm.
So, whatever thing that you want to do, go to a gym, do CrossFit, do whatever it is. Just be fit in general, and you don't have to be a marathoner to be fit.
Mm.
Just listen to your body, try to stay healthy, especially when you said what South Asians and stuff like that. We tend to not pay as much attention as we should to the
Mm.
general health. So maybe we should probably fix that.
Yeah. Yeah. Lovely. Mohan, again, thanks for your time. It was wonderful
Absolutely.
talking to you. Again, loved the down to earth, common sense approach to running you have, which is very inspiring given what you're doing and what you've done. So, good luck with your future
Thank you.
runs and journeys. And I'll let you go and have you enjoy the rest of the day and just stay in
Excellent.
touch.
Thank you so much. Nice talking to you.
Thank you.